Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Kat, and on here we talk about style, fashion, shopping, stuff like that. So if that sounds cool, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around. Today, I will be sharing some of my best TJ Maxx and home goods tips. And also, if you like anything I'm wearing today, I will link it below in the description box so that you can check it out for yourself. All right, let's get to it. So today, as I go around my local TJ Maxx and Home Goods, I want to share with you 10 of my top tips and then a list of some items that I like to buy at TJ Maxx and Home Goods and others that I personally would avoid and the reasons for that. So my first tip, as we walk through the home goods portion of this TJ Maxx and Home Goods, is sometimes you will find an item that you actually want more than one of. So here we're in the lamps, you see some pears, a lot of times in table linens or pillows or something like that. You might be wanting a matching set, and your location may not have the number of them that you're looking for. This, I think, can be particularly frustrating in garden items if you want two matching planters or something like that. And my tip is that within your area, if you are able to drive to multiple locations, you could, and you should do it soon if that is the plan, because the items, while each location is different, the same inventory will be spread across different locations. So for me, I have a lot of locations in my area, and I'm willing to drive to go find a matching set. Your mileage may vary quite literally on this tip. It does kind of depend on the way that inventory is spread throughout your area. It also depends on how many home goods versus TJ Maxx versus TJ Maxx home goods you have, because sometimes a TJ Maxx will have some home goods items, but you may have better luck finding a home goods thing at another home goods. And so it does kind of depend. You could always ask one of the sales associates to call other locations, especially if it is a large item or you're purchasing the first one is contingent upon there being a second one, chairs or planters or something large that you wouldn't want the first one if you cannot get the second. And I'm sure that the associates would be more than happy to help with that before you drive. And so that is always an option. But I was able to get a lot of wedding decor this way. I got some lanterns, I got some table linens that we used at our reception by going to multiple locations and picking up what the different locations had until I had a set of what I was looking for. And this is something that I will do frequently if I find something and just want more of it. So I would recommend it if you're willing to put in the time and able. And that leads me directly to my next tip, which is to choose your location carefully. So not all locations are going to be exactly the same. And that's part of the fun of the brand. You never quite know what's going to be there, and that's how they want you to feel. But the buyers are going to be pretty targeted in terms of who they think is shopping there and what they think that person is going to buy. So this could be as simple as a larger square footage store having more furniture or rugs, large art pieces, that kind of thing, and a smaller store having less variety and more small items. So if you're looking for furniture, you probably don't want to go to the smallest store in your area just because there won't be as large of a variety of furniture. Additionally, that downtown store where everyone lives in high-rises is less likely to have a huge garden section because people aren't going to be buying little stakes for the garden if they don't have a garden. I would also consider, if you're looking for high-end items, considering the demographic of the store as well. They don't want items sitting for way too long, so generally TJ Maxx and Home Goods will place those higher ticket items in areas where people are more likely to buy them quickly. So picking your location if you're looking for designer sunglasses or high-end skincare in a place where a lot of people use that kind of item is going to increase your chances of finding them. My next tip, and this is one that I kind of learned the hard way, is to really shop pre-season. You may be disappointed if it is late June and you go into Home Goods looking for summer stuff for a party. They may not have it. They will have likely moved on to very late summer or even fall by that point. So if you're looking for decor, if you're looking for, a lot of times they'll have paper plates and other serveware. If you're looking for something that's themed to the season, you want to go early. So you really will be seeing Halloween stuff in the summer, and you will see Christmas stuff well before Halloween sometimes. And so if you're looking for something specific, I would shoot for 3 months in advance. Sometimes it will still be there, and sometimes you'll even get it on clearance or at an extra discount 2 months before. But for me, 3 months has been the sweet spot, and you're going to have first pick of it that way. My next tip is that a lot of items will return year over year, sometimes for several years in a row. So if you miss out on those great towels, they may return. They may return in the same color, a different color, but some items, the exact thing, will come back next year during that season. So if you miss the timing a little bit and you want these great solar lanterns, they might be back next year. Tip number 5, and to be honest, I have mixed feelings about this one. If you are looking for a set of something or you've missed out on something in store, sometimes you can buy it online, and there are a couple of ways to do this. One that I'm a big fan of is checking out TJ Maxx's website. Sometimes they'll have great things, and you do kind of have to go through the categories and really dig through online. They won't let you search for certain brands, which I get. It's sort of fun, sort of silly, but if there's something and you think it might be online, it is worth checking, and it is worth the time if you end up finding it. The pricing should be the same online as it is in the store most of the time, so you'll get your same good deal. Another option, people will go and buy things at TJ Maxx and Home Goods and resell them for a profit on resale sites like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and the like. So if you are looking for a 4th placemat, which is the story of my life, sometimes I will be able to get that 4th one while it is marked up on eBay to complete my set. My 6th tip is to have an idea of what you're looking for, but be open-minded. So I like to think about this as what you are open to buy, which is a retailing term for what you're going to stock that season. So if you're looking for certain things for your home, certain clothing items, if you're already needing something, just being aware of that when you go on your shopping trip will be helpful, because if you find it, you love it, you have the budget for it, then you can get it and not feel like you missed out on it. You're actually going to get something that you will use. Rather than walking into a place like this, you can see all kinds of cool things and maybe walk out with things that you don't actually need. And so knowing what you need is helpful. That way you don't get distracted. But it is also helpful to budget, to know exactly how much to get, because especially in some areas like skincare, or if you find great shampoo, maybe you want to buy a couple of them and stock up at a good price. It is helpful to know what a good price is and how many you actually can use. So being aware of that kind of thing will empower you to buy things that you actually need rather than impulse buying just because there's cool stuff in the store. On the subject of pricing, that brings me to my next tip, which is to know what to compare the price to. So a lot of times the price tags will say compare at, and they'll give you a price. In some cases, this is accurate. In some, it's sort of just math that they've done, or they want it. They aren't lying, but it may not be the exact compare at price. In some cases, the compare at price is actually way lower than what the item actually retails for. So it's an interesting system. But if you're looking to get the lowest price, you want to ignore that compare at price and consider where you could actually get this potentially for less. And a big area that you should compare is sales at department stores. So especially if you are looking at designer items, unique items, more high-end, fragrance, that kind of thing, you should consider what it would sell at Nordstrom during a sale, or Saks off Fifth. Consider Nordstrom Rack. Might they have a lower price? Those are the kinds of stores that you should be considering, not the designer's website. Though in some cases, that will get discounted as well. But consider those other discount prices if you're really looking for the best deal. Additionally, if you're willing to go secondhand or just grab something on Poshmark that has the tags attached, I would consider that as well. And this leads very well into my next tip, which is consider the value of the item along with the cost. And this means factoring in quality. So you should be as educated as you possibly can be as a consumer as you go to make these purchases. At a place like TJ Maxx and Home Goods, you're going to have a wide variety of different brands, from designer to essentially store brands, private labels, and sort of off labels that are just for the TJ Maxx brand, other brand name items. And what you should be looking for is quality, and also what matches what you're actually looking for, what you actually need. Just because it's a brand name doesn't mean that it's going to be better. But if you appreciate the quality, like right now we're looking at this Kate Spade ice bucket. I love the aesthetics of Kate Spade, and I am willing to pay a bit more for that because the design matches my needs. But that doesn't mean that because there would be a similar ice bucket with a similar aesthetic, doesn't mean that the quality is necessarily better on the designer name versus the not designer name. So having an idea of specifically what you need, as I mentioned before, but also how to discern quality, especially in clothing and in items that you're going to be using for a long time or that might be outside in the case of garden items and that kind of thing. You want to make sure that it is actually worth your money, even if you are getting the best deal possible. And that brings us to tip number 9, which is be aware of private labeling. So I would compare this to outlet stores. So if you're aware of the difference between factory outlets and traditional outlets, a factory outlet may have an entire line that is produced for that store, versus traditional outlets may include overstock or discounted items. TJ Maxx is going to have a mix of these. So as you look through the clothing in particular, you will see, again, these compare at prices. And this is a great thing to take a look at. So this dress we're looking at right now is Calvin Klein, probably something like you'd find at Macy's. And there we have the tag hanging on it that looks like the one you'd see at Macy's. Then we see the tag here where the compare at price is considerably lower than that at Macy's, and then the price at TJ Maxx. When you look at items throughout the store, especially recognizable brands like this, I would suggest that you look for those original tags, and they could be original hang tags or they could be the actual price tag. But if you're not seeing either of those, the likelihood is higher that it could be a line that was produced specifically for TJ Maxx. And a lot of times when I hear this discussed, I hear it addressed in this sort of gotcha moment, as if TJ Maxx is trying to be very shady. This is actually a pretty common practice in retail, and while I will concede not everyone knows that, now that you do, or if you can keep that front of mind, you can be a savvier shopper, because if you come across something, you like the quality, you like the price, it doesn't really matter that much what the label is. But if you are looking for something of a certain price point originally, be aware that you should be finding those original tags on it to ensure that that's really what it is. Additionally, you can look at the tags on the inside of the garment and decode those. I do have a couple videos from the past about reading clothes tags, but I will also link below a video from another YouTuber, Veri Keri, who I thought gave a great explanation explanation of this, so be sure to go check out her video as well. And then my final tip today has to do with these locked cases. I always look in these every time I shop, but don't assume that the best deals are in here. Just because it's locked up doesn't mean you're going to get the best deal or that it's the best quality item. I've found great quality items in this section, just on the regular shelves. And I will finish off today with my top items that I get when shopping at TJ Maxx. So my absolute favorites are beaded placemats and other tablewares, which I collect. Great prices. I also love decor like florals and wall art, and I can almost always find skincare. Great sunscreen, Korean brands that I love, nice hair care as well. And as for items that I wouldn't get here, some of the pet items are great, but the cat scratchers and kitty condos are tiny. I would never get those. I also am never that excited about the handbags, and whatever we're looking at here, I wouldn't get that either. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you find some of these tips helpful and interesting. If you have any TJ Maxx and HomeGoods shopping tips, be sure to leave them below to help us all out. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I put out videos every Monday and often every Friday. So if you like shopping and fashion content and style, I'd love to have you here. So please do that. Go over and follow me on Instagram, same username, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.